What is up, everybody? Welcome to more coverage of the preseason cup. Oh, it's no longer the preliminaries. Let me go fix that real quick. I am Delphius. How's it going, everybody? I am doing well. We've got a couple matches to go tonight. We're gonna start with Night Slayer versus Horus, and then we'll move on into what are we gonna do next? I don't know. Maybe we'll do Mocha versus Tiki after that, and then Trumpet versus the Gentleman. And if I've got the time and the energy, I might get to Nicolaccio versus Rattan as well. So I suppose let us get things kicked off here. I am in need of new patch replays, guys, so if you've got them, please submit them to toothandtailtv@gmail.com. I'd like to do a feast on Friday nights of new patch replays, if possible. If I don't end up getting enough, I might just do the older patch replays. Not a whole lot changed. I mean, Toads and Cams might be coming back a little bit. Maybe we'll see a little bit less barbed wire, but I think in general, the meta should relatively be the same, so it wouldn't be too bad to do the previous patch. It's kind of hard to tell. We'll see. But anyways, without any further ado, let's hop into match number 1 here. Spawning on the bottom left, we've got Horus the Holy and his opponent up top, Night Slayer. Alright, both these players a little bit newer to the scene. Night Slayer did a fantastic job in the preseason cup preliminaries. Managed to come out in place number 1. So let's see what these players have in store for this. Horus starting off with a 4-farm Lizard opener. I like to see the Toads and the Cams here. I'm curious how much better they are on this patch. Ooh, a 4-farm double even. And Night Slayer is not scouting. I wonder if he went AFK or something. That's what it looks like. This is a very, very bad matchup for that to be the case. There we go. Now he's back. Okay, I was wondering if there was a desync or something because maybe this was on the PTR and I'm on live, but I believe Eel said that there should not be any desync issues because it's the same version of the game. Yeah, and unfortunately, Night Slayer grabbing a drink or answering a phone call or whatever it was in the early game here, really going to get punished for it. You know, 9 times out of 10 when your opponent just opens up 8 farms, like, okay, you got to go AFK in the early game, you'll be fine, but this was kind of like a stars aligning type of situation, you know. This is a relatively bigger map, so you might not have expected that kind of rush to begin with, but, you know, not scouting in the early game and your opponent going 4-farm double feels bad, man. So Night Slayer did take some significant damage there. He lost 3 farms. He's technically not out yet. I mean, maybe if Night Slayer can delay the game, you know, maybe get up to some defensive skunks or something like that, can possibly come back into this one. But right now, it's looking fantastic for Horus the Holy. And I might be doing a little bit of fast forwarding, everybody. Not a whole lot, just a bit. Because I would like to cover all 4 of these series if I can. You know, and all things considered, for Night Slayer losing 3 pigs, like, he doesn't look like he's super far behind here. And again, these sorts of differences, you know, if you find yourself in a game like this where you take a lot of damage in the early game, the best thing that you can try to do is delay the game, right? If you're up against a really smart opponent, they might be able to put together the required comp in order to come in and beat you down, but stuff like skunks on defense, you know, maybe an MG or something like that, can really help you just kind of stabilize. And if Night Slayer just kind of takes it easy and just says, all right, let's calm down for a little bit, let's drag this game out, that difference in food value between the two will matter less and less. And we see Horus is not messing around here. He doesn't want Night Slayer to get the opportunity to lick his wounds here. Night Slayer trying to get into some chameleons. A pretty good call in this situation against the lizards on defense, I suppose, with the extra pigs healing and that sort of thing. But now Horus has the high ground here. And he's continuing to build more and more lizards right here on the proxy. This is very all-in from Horus. If Night Slayer can hold on, then maybe Horus is in a bad spot. But the Chameleon was not on the front lines at the very start of that. Horus is able to come in. Doesn't take a super cost-effective trade, but kills the pig in the process. And that's the really, really important thing. Especially when you've got a lead like this, you know, if you can take an engagement and end up like killing a Warren, killing a pig, or something like that. But Night Slayer's got the double cam here. He's coming in now. One of them was a little bit hurt, but the Chameleon doing a decent job of tanking on the front line. If Night Slayer can keep this Chameleon alive, that's pretty reasonable for him. And Horus is going to have to give this position up. Now keep in mind, Night Slayer's only on 7 farms here. Really needs to get back to 8 farms. There he goes, queuing that up. And just needs to play defense, keep up the scouting. Horus is just massing lizards here. So if Night Slayer can manage to get up to maybe an extra set of cams or some skunks here, you know, some units with a lot of HP to help deal with this, he might be okay. What's up, Night Slayer? Good to see you in chat, man. We got Tiki, we got Tuesday. What's up, everybody? And now we hit the 5-minute mark, so both the economies are starting to go into the dumps. And you know what? All things considered, you know, Night Slayer's playing a really good game here. He's managed to wiggle back in to a decent economy. He's kind of stabilizing for the moment. But what's Horus's next move? Now, I haven't actually got a chance to really comment on the deck selections here, but Horus went for triple tier 3. And that is very, very greedy. You know, if he can get to that late game, he's kind of got this super deathball comp, or maybe he's selected those various tier 3s to be able to kind of have the Swiss Army knife of higher tech units, you know, whichever one for the right situation. The Night Slayer's getting up to that double cam, which is going to be kind of difficult for these lizards to engage on if he just tries to slam right in. But the benefit of the lizards is that they can try to do these flank attack kind of maneuvers. And the main base of Night Slayer is not super open. Oh, does Night Slayer see this move out? He does. And he's trying to take this engagement. He's confident. Horus does not want to fight. You know, Night Slayer's basically got this very similar amounts of tier 1 plus all the chameleons here. And Night Slayer is able to just dominate all of the lizards in that fight, keeping... Honestly, I think he lost like 1 or 2 squirrels there and 2 chameleons for all the lizards of Horus. Now Night Slayer's in good shape. He's moving in. Horus did actually a very greedy transition into the mid-game here, going full 8 farms on the second base. Night Slayer's trying to come in and punish that, but all of his chameleons are no longer here on the front line. They've all gone down. But Night Slayer's getting the damage and he was looking for, and all of a sudden, Night Slayer will have the better economy in this match. Horus is in a lot of trouble. Okay, Night Slayer's pushing in, and I think this is going to be a victory, so well done from Night Slayer here. A bit of a gamble on Horus' side on the deck selection front, I feel like. You know, Horus didn't have a lot of tools for the early game, and 4 chameleons versus a bunch of lizards when you got tier 1 backing it up, it's kind of difficult for the lizards there. And Night Slayer will take game number 1. I think the big mistake from Horus was just fully saturating that second base. It's a really dangerous thing to do. And with Night Slayer just putting a couple farms on that second base while continuing to develop the army, he had a nice opportunity to go in there and strike. So let's get into match number 2 here. Alright, spawning on the top left, we've got Horus the Holy, and his opponent to the right, Night Slayer 907. Looks like Night Slayer is rocking this same composition here. Meanwhile, Horus has changed things up pretty drastically, to be honest. Completely different deck this time around. I like the mines. That's kind of interesting. When chameleons were really meta a few patches ago, what people started figuring out to do against them would be place the mines like right next to your warrens, You know, like the 3 tiles, like put your warrens down, put the mines right in front. That way when the chameleons came in to attack, the mines would blow up on them. Maybe that's the thought process for Horus, or maybe he's trying to get out the ferrets and like bait the opponent into the mines. I think the mines have a little bit of a bad rap nowadays. Maybe they're a little bit underutilized due to the stealth reveal. You typically see that in a lot of competitive games, you know. If something gets like a slight nerf, everybody's like, oh, it's terrible now, you know what I mean? So I feel like mines maybe have been a victim of that. I can't remember, though. I think mines got a relatively significant nerf, though, right? Because they got hit by both the stealth reveal and I think a damage reduction. I'd have to verify that, but we got 8 farm doubles from both sides here. Night Slayer already getting into the second base. It's a pretty decent map for this sort of thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Night Slayer went for an 8 farm single into the second base. Yeah, that makes more sense. And is he going to go ahead and grab some skunks, maybe? No, going to go for the chameleons again. That's kind of interesting. I feel like chameleons are better on the offense, and skunks are better on the defense. You know what I mean? So with this like gristmill opening, I would think I'd rather see some quick skunks, but you never know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just full of air. And we got the double skunk opening from Horus here. So the double tier 2 is not going to get punished. Sometimes when your opponent tries to go for a double tier 2 this quickly, you can try to do some sort of early attack, but Night Slayer has invested into economy. So no early attack is coming in. And this is actually really cool. Cam Snake versus Double Skunk. I was just complaining about Double Skunk in unit discussion. So I'm personally interested in this because I'm curious what the right response to it is. I think the right response definitely involves snakes. Airlu was thinking maybe Cam Skunk versus Double Skunk would be able to do it, but Double Skunk seems to be very meta right now. Like in my opinion, the two things that kind of have the target on their back as like the mainstream good meta builds and decks right now are the Double Skunk openers and the Snake Owl ultra late game. And those are definitely solid ways to play. But I think that's what guys like me are kind of scratching our heads like, okay, what do you do about that? How do you crack that nut? And Horus with a very, very tier 2 heavy opener here. Getting into some second base economy, also going up to double Falcon. Meanwhile, Night Slayer is kind of being a little bit more on the economy, not slacking off on his own tier 2 though, is getting into his third tier 2 Warren. Can only watch the stream on source resolution, I believe. Oh yeah, that is weird. Normally my stream has various resolution options, yeah, but it's only giving the 1440p option. I apologize for that. Hopefully that's not too big of a deal for most of the viewers out there. I will investigate that for my next stream. So we've got a proper late game on our hands, and did Horus scout the tier 3? He did. Night Slayer was gonna get into a quick bore, but changes it up, instead goes for a lot more tier 2. And this is like a very, very greedy macro game, and I think it makes a lot of sense for this map. Oh, look at this, Horus trying to rally these Falcons over here to snipe that tier 3 Warren that no longer exists. But this could be huge. If Night Slayer can actually catch all those Falcons, that would be enormous. And we just hit the 5-minute mark here. Both players on second base, full saturation. Both players getting into a lot of tier 2. And here comes this Falcon harassment. I think it did manage to kill a Warren, and then the second one that it was threatening got sold. Yeah, sorry about that, Take Aim. I don't know why that is the issue, unfortunately. Or why that is the case, I should say. I haven't really changed anything, and most of the time I get all the various quality options. Alright, so we're getting into some big fat tier 2 armies here. Horus actually teching in a couple of those ferrets. Just gonna use those to harass a little bit. Yeah, I love all these mines. Trying to bait Night Slayer to coming in for the attack. And Horus does have a superior Falcon count right now. However, lots of skunks on the ground without a lot of tier 1 from either side. Those skunks won't be getting their full utilization. Nice little pickup from Horus. I'm curious if Night Slayer knows about the minefield. Alright, Night Slayer's gonna move in and start getting hit by a lot of these mines. Horus still has so many Falcons in the air. Night Slayer is running out of units that can actually shoot up, but good target fire. A lot of those Falcons falling down, and Night Slayer able to retreat, keeping one of his snakes at 1 HP right there. Yeah, with the lack of tier 1 from both sides, I would like to see, you know, both sides really sell down to maybe 2 skunks. But again, the 4 skunks just kind of makes sense. I think in general right now that's a pretty solid opening. Alright, so this is going to be all about the third base. And for Horus, does have this third base over here at about the 8 o'clock, but there's no real fourth base option available for him. Night Slayer, however, can continue to build his economy into the late game. So Horus really needs to be thinking about how he's going to seal the deal on this match. Not necessarily right now, but within the next few minutes. You know, Horus doesn't really want this game to get to the point where they're thinking about fourth bases. Oh, and Night Slayer's looking to be sneaky with these chameleons. Gonna run into a mine, gonna run into this campfire. Nice job. Horus really utilizing these ferrets quite effectively this match. You know, just to apply some light pressure. And even getting some nice shots there. You know, weakening the army a little bit before the big engagement. This is such a rough spot to be in, man. Both these... Now, what's interesting about these armies is that since they're very, very low on tier 1, this fight is very dangerous. Like, whoever wins this big engagement might just snowball to the victory of the match, because it's going to take these tier 2 so long to reproduce. And not only that, unless you are very, very fast right after the big engagement to sell off warrens, you're not going to be able to afford to be, you know, producing out of all of these tier 2 structures, which is a very big problem. So oh man, catching these Falcons here is huge for Horus, and Horus has this high ground. He's continuing to shell with the ferrets. Night Slayer is going to try to take this engagement, but his chameleons here just doing nothing. His skunks not really getting a whole lot of work done. Yeah, and the chameleons and the double skunks just aren't really what the doctor ordered here. You know, those types of compositions are much better off dealing with big unit counts on the ground. You know, dealing with a lot of tier 1 and whatnot, for example. Night Slayer sold something off. Looked like some Falcons. Then again, Horus is starting to get into a few more squirrels here. And the cams might end up just kind of tanking shots for the Falcons. That was so much damage onto these chameleons here. You can see how low HP they are already after stepping on the mines, after taking those ferret hits. And Horus is going to clean this up. He's going to start pushing back. Night Slayer, again, he does not have a lot of tier 1 warrens. So you can see all of his tier 2 warrens are in the red right now. Very, very difficult when you're this heavy on tier 2 to quickly rebake an army. And I think Horus is just going to win from here. We're going to have a series on our hands going into the next match 1-1. Also, throughout all this, Horus did get that third base up and running, so really nice play here from Horus. Let's keep it going. Game number 3. Spotting in the bottom left, we've got Horus the Holy. And his opponent to the top right, Night Slayer 907. Alright, Horus constantly changing up the decks here. Really cool to see, man. I totally understand the logic behind both players. You know, Night Slayer saying, hey, this is the deck I'm good with. This is what I think is kind of the holy grail of decks for the meta. You know, capable of, like, dealing with everything quite nicely. Meanwhile, Horus is like, I'm going to keep changing it up, man. You know, first game he went Mass Lizard. Second game he got a really big Falcon composition with a couple Ferrets to poke and prod in the mines. And this time around, he's got Lizard. I actually really like Horus's deck a lot, to be honest. He's got Lizard, Skunk, Snake, which can do a phenomenal job in the early game. And obviously you can get into that Owl Snake in the late game, but can even fit the turret artillery into the composition to just be very, very oppressive if he gets the positional advantage. And this map does favor Horus quite a bit. You know, Night Slayer's got this second base. He's got a decent natural. But, you know, if Horus is allowed to, could probably set up like a turret and an artillery cannon here. Night Slayer trying to poke around with these squirrels, find a way to get in against the turret defense from the rush here. Really wants to get this pig. Oh my gosh, it's so close. He's gonna get it. Nice job from Night Slayer. Love to see this pre-8 farm aggression. So nice little victory to start things off here for Night Slayer. But not the end of the world for Horus. Again, Horus's deck doesn't mind expanding to the late game, but we have seen, and as we saw in the preseason cup, you know, Night Slayer did defeat that Owl Snake late game with Falcon Boar quite nicely. So maybe we'll get into to see how his deck can kind of deal with that. Maybe the game won't quite last that long. It's a little bit early to tell so far. But yeah, this map is a little bit rough for Night Slayer. Could, in theory, go for this 12 o'clock base as a third. You know, Horus only has 3 bases available. So, in theory, we could get to, like, 3 base versus 3 base, but I don't like that because Horus has lizards. It could probably pretty easily go, like, harass that 12 o'clock base. So, I think if you're Night Slayer, you want to go for some sort of 2 base build. And he's definitely got the deck for it. You know, he's got the Cavalcade of Tier 2 here. And, Horus looking for an opening, gonna swing around with the lizards. Nice positioning on these squirrels, though. Gonna force these lizards out. And Horus is gonna come through the front, but I don't think this is gonna work. Yeah, smart from Horus to change his mind right there. So only losing 1 lizard to take that opportunity to try to maybe snipe a pig or 2. Yeah, I think Night Slayer's got a solid deck for a 2 base push, you know. We'll see how he wants to go about it. Getting into full saturation, maybe like a half saturation, board timing. This artillery cannon is getting up for Horus, and it's in a very nice position. It essentially protects all 3 bases. And I think the defensive structures like this just pair so nicely with the Owl Snake. Because the Owl Snake player wants to get into that late game, right? And when you put up a defense like this, what you're trying to do is tell your opponent, like, hey man, let's play a macro game. You're not going to want to attack into this artillery cannon. Let's just wait a few minutes and see how our army comps do against each other. And that's exactly what the Owl Snake wants. They want to get into that big Owl Snake comp, and they're hoping that will let them win the game. Gets a scout on that 3rd base there. And Night Slayer taking this 12 o'clock, but Horus is going to scout it. And again, this is rough for Night Slayer, as Horus is the player with the lizards. He's going to have a lot more presence on the map. It's not a very big risk at all for Horus to try to move the lizards up to attack that base. So I think what Night Slayer really needs to do if he wants to get into 3 bases here is kind of clear out these cabins. Yeah, we can see the lizards already going up there to deny that. But I think Night Slayer needs to clear out these cabins and then position his army around, like, here, you know, so he's kind of close to either side. I think that's about the best he can do. He's going to try to catch these lizards. Only one of them goes down, though, and is Night Slayer going to go for it underneath this artillery cannon? He's going to back up for now. Yeah, and Horus getting really defensive here, trying to cover all the bases. I don't think those turrets were really necessary in that position. I think the artillery actually covers that. Artillery has just got such crazy range. Night Slayer is saturating up faster here. He's already got the full base economy saturation on the second. Now, does Night Slayer try again on this third base? Or does he go for a boar? Or maybe mass falcons? Like, he's got to do something soon. Yeah, I think it's the boar. I think that's the right call. Maybe you can get that boar up front and tank, you know, some of the artillery shots. Get that structure crit onto the artillery. Knock it out without losing most of your army. And maybe you can push through. But honestly, I think it depends on if Horus tries to get into owls from here. Like, he's got the double skunk. He's got the snakes. His defense is rock solid. But if Horus does something like try to go for, like, double owl, and then Night Slayer can attack while these owls are, like, paid for but not on the field yet, maybe he's got a chance. And that looks like exactly what's going to happen. So Horus is going to try to get into double owl here. So this is the timing for Night Slayer. His boar will be out around the same time that Horus has invested 720 food into the owls, but before the owls are actually there. Night Slayer does not know the owls are on the way, but it could probably assume, you know, if you're doing things like building artillery cannon and defense and skunks and snakes, like that's probably where you're going to go for the late game. But is Night Slayer's army going to be big enough? He's got a lot of falcons here. Horus doesn't have a whole lot of tier 1 on the ground. Oh, I'm hyped. This is actually going to be really cool. Alright, here's the boar. So this is the chance. Night Slayer needs to push in here and get it done. The owls are almost out. Night Slayer needs to go right now. Start this engagement. Clear out most of Horus's army before the owls actually get the chance to show up. He's leading with this boar. It is going to allow Horus to get a few stacks of poison on the boar, but he's going to slam through this artillery cannon. This boar will go down, but it got the job done. Very smartly for Horus, though. Horus did not commit any actual economy to that base right there. So although Night Slayer has busted through, the farming base for Horus is okay right now, but the bigger problem is, you know, this owl's got nothing to support it. And yeah, owls are really strong, especially when you have 2 of them, but they need backup. They're not going to get the job done just by themselves. And Night Slayer, very patiently coming in here, knocking out all these Warrens. Now it's going to be difficult for Horus to re-rally an army. He's got these 2 owls here, but there's so many falcons from Night Slayer. Now, does Night Slayer continue to push, or does he go back? I think it's smart to go back. Sell off certain things, like the boar, maybe a Falcon Warren or something like that. Reproduce what you can. I think that attack was successful, but Horus is still alive. However, Night Slayer's got a really decent economy to deal with what Horus has got. He's trying to get into that double skunk right now, which help make those mice null and void. But Horus still has a good economy. Still has a few units, but I think Night Slayer's army is better right now. I think the question is, does he move in or does he wait for the skunks? It looks like he wants to move in. He does have those cams on the ground to help tank against the mice. And the trick here for Night Slayer is to keep pushing. You know, over time, those free mice will rack up a ton of value. But not right here, right now. The mice have been chewed through. One of the owls go down. The second owl should be out of the game here shortly. This looks like a victory for Night Slayer here. Horus is out of steam. Yeah, with that second owl falling, there's nothing left. Nice timing there from Night Slayer. He didn't quite know that his opponent was going into double owl, but he kind of pieced it together and came out with a solid push, just like right at the right time to deal with that before it really got going. That puts us on match number 4. Opponent in the bottom left, we've got Horus the Holy. And his opponent in the top right, Night Slayer. Alright, Horus changing it up again. This time around going for Balloon Fox. And you know what? Fox actually is pretty good against what Night Slayer has been showing so far. You know, Night Slayer hasn't been showing any kind of defense. He's got chameleons, he's got snakes, and those kinds of units can be a thorn in the Fox's side, but aren't necessarily just like straight counters. Let's see if there's any more aggression in these early game situations. Looks like we're going to get up to 8 farms this time. Nope, Night Slayer is going to go for some sneakiness. Selling into a 5-farm double here. And the map is definitely good for that. It's a pretty short rush distance. Which can make a big difference, right? Because every 10 seconds is another tier 1 coming out. Ooh, I actually really like the double tier 1. It's a shame that he sold that down. Because a double tier 1 would have allowed him to have 2 versus 1 or 4 versus 2. It most likely would have came down to like 6 versus 2 tier 1, and you can kill a pig with that. But no, Night Slayer just trying to get Horus to overreact. Not actually committing to this attack. And I think that does make sense when you have squirrels. You know, maybe I would have liked the 5-farm double better if it was lizards, because that extra movement speed can really help you get to the enemy's base before they have enough units to defend. I think for a rush like that, you want to be at least like 2 to 3 tier 1 above your opponent, you know? I think you can make it work with 2. Like if you come in with 3 lizards and they have 1 squirrel, I think you kill a pig. Pretty sure. Mass lizards here. From Horus, meanwhile, Night Slayer getting into a quick chameleon. And Night Slayer does have a few extra lizards onto the tier 1 count, but now that the numbers are a little bit larger, that difference doesn't matter so much. So Horus cannot actually dive into this. Night Slayer looks like he wants to go for a squirrel camp. Now, maybe Horus can dive in and get this Warren. Yeah, nicely done there. Doesn't lose too many lizards either. And really that was for 2 reasons. It was, I mean, mainly it was the short rush distance of the map more than anything else. But it was also because the Night Slayer went into the tier 2 and the tier 2 wasn't quite done. But I think on most maps, the tier 2 would have been done by the time that additional like mass tier 1 harassment got to your base. It's just such a short rush distance here. Sometimes you really got to factor that kind of thing into it. So Night Slayer going up to 4 camps, which I think is a pretty good response to Mass Lizard. Let's see how it works out here. And the fact that Horus is also going into this second base before Night Slayer, so Night Slayer's army is going to have a little bit more umph. He's going to have his tier 2 out faster, and Horus is getting into tier 2 now by the looks of it. Oh, I thought he was about to. Oh, I think he's waiting for the scout to leave. There he go. Oh, actually going for a fox. If he can get away with that, it would absolutely be huge, but he needs like almost 2 minutes for that fox to get here. Night Slayer is probably going to move out when he gets these 4 cams. And I think he's going to move out right now because that last chameleon's blocked, and he's like, screw it, I'm not going to wait that long. So he's going to move in. He's got 3 chameleons up here on the front to help deal with these lizards. Oh, if he can keep those cams alive, absolutely slaughters those lizards. Keeps 1 chameleon alive here. Oh man, I was like, does the pig actually kill it though? Alright, Horus sells the fox. I don't know if that was the right... Well, I think he's just worried about the follow-up attack. Night Slayer's selling down one of the chameleons there. And again, he's going to try to get into the double cam. And I like this a lot. You know, having quite a bit of tier 1 and then double cam against lizards seems pretty decent. Horus going to try to get into those snakes, though. Try to target those chameleons down with the poison stacks. Night Slayer's putting on some aggression, but not going to hard commit. I think he's just wanting to wait for that double chameleon. Even starting to get into some falcons here. kind of interesting with the Falcons. Typically, Falcons are kind of bad against this many lizards, but, you know, I mean, if your front line is strong enough and the lizards are busy dealing with the squirrels, dealing with the chameleons, those Falcons can help on the backside. And I'm curious if Nightslayer is just going to swing once he gets up to the double cam. He's almost got it here. He's got the better economy. This looks like Nightslayer's game to lose. After that first big 3 chameleon attack, Horus just lost so much there. And here we go. Nightslayer's moving out. He knows if he can deny this base again, that's basically GG. The 5-minute mark is long past gone. And Horus is thinking he can't attack this army, wants to go for the base race, but Nightslayer, moving his units over, wants to deny that opportunity from Horus. But Horus might be bobbing and weaving. No, he's back in the corner, trying to sneak out of here. And he's going to take this engagement. No, he's going to back out. Yeah, he's just trying to buy time, but I think ultimately Nightslayer will clean this up. Horus is losing a ton of lizards trying to generate this run by. And I think like 12 lizards are enough to kill a fully saturated farm. Typically. Like they can survive through the pig damage and get it done. Ooh, Nightslayer needs to be a bit careful with his commander, getting a lot of poison stacks, but those snakes just got annihilated immediately. Oh, Nightslayer could just win the game, but no, he really wants to make sure Horus does not steal this out from under him with the lizard run by, but that should be it, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like Nightslayer will take this one 3-1, as Horus has got nothing left, starving out here. Is going to have to tap or be eliminated from this match here shortly. Alright, so that is a 3-1 victory for Nightslayer. Good to see everybody. Getting some bonus casting done on a Monday night here. And while I do have everybody here, please submit me more replays, guys. toothandtailtv@gmail.com. I need some new patch replays for the feast on Friday nights. Might actually start that a little bit earlier. I think I got some plans with my friends. Maybe I'll try to start that at like 5:30 or something. Okay. Let's hop into some premier matches here. Spawn on the bottom, we got Mochaccino. And his opponent to the right, Tiki Gray. Alright. Both players with a good amount of tier 2. Tiki going for 4 tier 2s in the composition. Mocha with 3. Both players have a defensive structure. But Mocha's got that Squizzard. But honestly, in the modern meta, where we're at right now, you know, I really don't mind dropping the squirrels. It seems like double skunk is very common opener, which does quite nicely against the squirrels. The lizards seem to be doing well. I'm not sure how much the modern toads are countering them, or how many people are playing the toads. Like maybe Tiki would get into a little trouble here against lizard toad, perhaps. But it's a risk he's willing to take to be able to fit in all the various tier 2 units. So this one should be fun. I like this map a bit better for Mocha. I feel like his expansions are a little bit easier to defend. However, Tiki does have 3 expansions of his own right here. Nice and neat. And even a 4th base as well up here on the high ground. Might even end up taking this as his natural. This is very, very difficult for Mocha to attack into, since he'd have to run all the way around. And it might even be difficult to scout, to be honest. However, maybe Tiki would rather take one of these bases, like save this one for later on. 8 farm double into snakes for Tiki. Meanwhile, Mocha goes into an 8 farm double into an expansion. Tiki did see that mine get placed down, so that's a free 20 food right there for him. Nice observation. Mocha moving out with these squirrels a little bit dangerous. Most of the time, lizards do trade advantageously against big, open, fair fights like this. And Mocha trying to get into some chameleons here. I actually like... I've been testing a little bit more lately with delayed expansion openings, kind of similar to what Tiki did. I actually like that a lot. I've been trying to punish people for greed. It's a fun way to play. I think my problem is, like, my first attacks, like, normally do well, and then I do follow-up attacks that don't do as good. But yeah, I generally like the 8 farm double into a tier 2 into, like, another tier 1. Seems pretty good right now, but it also depends on the map and what your opponent is doing and that sort of thing. And so far, Mocha is purely on Squizzard here. This is a decent way to buffer trying to be a little bit more greedy with the expansion. But Mocha's going to go on the offensive. Hopefully, he's looking to hopefully try to punish Tiki for getting into early snakes. Snakes aren't the best unit against tier 1. But Tiki's got some good micro here. Got that emergency turret up in time. Nice job from Tiki, really having the game sense to realize he was about to be attacked. Throw that down. But this offense for Mocha still did okay. He got 2 Warrens and a pig. It's a shame he lost his commander, I think, to the poison there, because that would have been a lot more successful. But good defense from Tiki. You know, trying to get into double tier 2 and expanding and stuff. I really like the MG. I think that helped out a lot. But Mocha losing his commander there really made that go from like a victory to more of a relatively even trade. You know, Tiki just getting to pick up all those additional tier 1 that were coming in, and the tier 1 that was left over that Mocha probably would have rallied home. Both players trying to get up to second bases here. Mocha trying to think about what tier 2 he wants. I've seen him kind of sell and buy a couple of them. Just going to go into that double skunk here. Meanwhile, Tiki thinks he's in a good spot. Going to put on some pressure with these turrets. And Mocha cannot attack into 3 turrets right there. However, they are placed in such a position if Mocha really wanted, he could try to go all the way around and attack in to Tiki, but the problem with that is turrets would mow down the reinforcements. Alright, Mocha's coming in. He's got a lot of lizards here trying to deal with these tier 2 units, but Tiki's control is very good. Keeps most of the tier 2 alive there, only dropping 1. Which is a shame for Mocha with this kind of Squizzard style. What he's really looking to do is knock out that tier 2, but Tiki with some good micro there, keeping his units alive at low HP. And Tiki's got a lot of the momentum now thanks to these turrets. He did sell off one of them, but 2 turrets here is still a force to be reckoned with. Mocha's really got to respect that. He doesn't have anything like snakes or ferrets to poke those down cost effectively. So yeah, Mocha can try this kind of move, like try to take this engagement wide enough around the turrets to where they're not coming into play. But again, if this fight goes long, all the reinforcements from Mocha will just be running into those turrets here. And Tiki trying to keep the tier 2 alive so far. And this is just a great engagement for Tiki, managing to keep all the a couple of his tier 2 alive, I should say. 2 of them did go down. But he managed to kill all the skunks for Mocha. Mocha sells down to 1 skunk warren. But if Mocha can pick off these tier 2, they're so weak, you want them. Alright, he gets them. That was a big victory there for Mocha. That definitely puts him back in this a little bit. Mocha sold off of the skunks and is just going to rely on Squizzard here. Finds an opening where Tiki's army is not all defending these turrets. Going to go ahead and engage on those, but Tiki's still got enough pure lizards here to clean this force up, or at least contest it. And the real story here is that Tiki, throughout all of this, has managed to get those extra farms up on the second base, has managed to keep his tier 2 warrens up and running. Not going to be able to build any units out of them for quite some time, but I think he's okay with that. You know, he's got 1 skunk, he's got 1 snake. He sells off 1 lizard warren, but he knows he's got to be careful about that. Doesn't want to go too far down on the tier 1. Mocha looks like he's thinking about coming in for some more blood here. Going to be able to pick off that warren, I think. Yeah, it should go down, but the Warren did a good job absorbing a decent amount of damage there, protecting the units for Tiki. Gonna be able to trade out the tier 1, but not able to knock out the tier 2. That's the real targets you're looking for there. But Mocha did get that Warren, which is something. And he's been able to get up to 8 farms now. Tiki's income is a little bit better here, though. Was able to get up to the 8 farms a little bit faster. Alright, so now Mocha's only got Pure Squizzard here to deal with this skunk snake turret. This is rough. These turrets, like, really making a big difference here for Tiki, in my opinion. You can basically have these snakes do their ferret impression here. Ooh, gonna actually lose them. Gets a pig in the process. Mocha trying to back up so he can get that extra pig fire here to help him out. Losing both those snakes, though. A little bit of a blunder. Now Mocha's trying to get into some of his own tier 2. Looking to get the chameleons. Maybe he wants that extra tanking on the front line. Maybe trying to get them to deal with the turrets. But Tiki's still got the better tech here. And he's got a similar amount of tier 1. So this is rough for Mocha. Tiki's still in a good spot. Mocha realizes he needs to get some of his own tech up and running. But Tiki trying to keep the pressure on. Yeah, this is rough for Mocha because if he doesn't engage, the skunk snake will poke down the pigs. If he does engage, he loses the fight. So this might just be checkmate. Tiki slowly pushing Mocha's army back further and further. Mocha just trying to buy some time for his own tier 2 to get out, but that should be game. Tiki's army crushing through. Now the skunks are here, but they're too little too late. And that's going to be it. Match number 1 going to Tiki. I was like, why do I have Discord pings? It's the Pocket Cup. I'm sorry, Pocket Cup. I'm stealing everybody to watch tournament matches here. Alright, game number 2. Spot at the bottom, we got Mochaccino and his opponent to the top left, Tiki Gray. Both players with similar decks. It looks like Tiki dropped the chameleons this time around for pigeons. Meanwhile, I think Mocha dropped the chameleons for snakes. And let's see how this one plays out. Map looks fairly decent for both sides. I always hate spawning on the low ground here, but I think Tiki will get over it since he's got 4 expansions right there in his yard. Meanwhile, Mocha's got 3 on his side of the map. And this is actually a decent front here. Like, if Tiki takes this mill, that's going to stretch out his territory a good bit for those aggressive turrets. Alright. So I might fast forward a little bit during the early games here if they're pretty basic. Looks like 8 farm double from Tiki, 8 farm double from Mocha. Seeing if maybe he went for an 8 farm single into the Expo. 8 farm into the Expo for Mocha here. And generally, I think I prefer the opening that Tiki is doing over the Gristmill opening, but it does depend on what you're going to do in that early to the mid game, right? Like, I think if you're just going to hold on and defend, what Mocha's doing is better, but I think Tiki's opener kind of lets you have the opportunity to put on some aggression on that second base, maybe try to come in, get a Warren, get a favorable engagement while you have tier 2 and your opponent doesn't. But honestly, this map is probably big and weird enough to where by the time Tiki tries to do an attack with these skunks, Mocha will have the snakes out, so this might end up being better for Mocha in the long run. Let's just see how much Tiki commits to an army versus going for a second base. If Tiki continues to just bring the hammer, okay, yeah, he's going to get into second base, so I think now I like this better for Mocha. But let's see. This is the test, and Mocha just committed a second farm there. So he's being a little bit greedy. And Tiki's coming in for a shoulder check here. Snake, squirrel versus skunk, lizard. Ooh, good job from Mocha getting the snake tags exactly where they needed to be, and that went fantastic. I think, did Tiki's commander go down? No, Mocha's commander went down. That was a very nice defense for Mocha, but I think it really came down to Mocha's targeting. Like, the fact he got those snake stacks onto the skunks so quickly was absolutely huge. If those snakes, you know, just kind of hit some of the lizards or didn't quite deal with those skunks, you know, Tiki might have found the opportunity to bust in there. Yeah, snake poison on commander is super rough. I agree. Should get rid of it. We should get rid of snakes poisoning buildings too. Take a stand, chat. Alright, skunk snake from both sides here. Mocha getting into the double skunk. And has an eco advantage. Tiki looking to maybe set up a flank with the snakes. Gonna probably try to run in with the lizards over here, get Mocha to move the army, and then come in with the snakes. Meanwhile, behind it, Tiki's being very greedy. He's got some turrets to back that greed up, but really just trying to get into tier 2. Smart by Mocha, only moving the squirrels. Oh no, and then he rallies the whole army. Oh, if he would have kept the rest of his units here, this would have worked out much better for him. He is going to end up killing those snakes, but the snakes got some good damage done. So did the lizards. I think he ended up getting like 3 warrens and a farm there, but he lost both the snakes. So that could possibly put Mocha in the opportunity where he's got a good chance for a counterattack, but Tiki's got some turrets here to defend really his most precious assets. And it looks like we're in a little bit of a standstill. Mocha trying to get into 4th base economy. Tiki getting into 3. Tiki pushing forward now. Double skunk for Mocha, double falcon for Tiki. One of those skunks is going to drop before the fight starts, and here's the big engagement. Looks like Mocha is holding this. Yeah, big victory there for Mocha. Tiki did get a warren or 2, but Tiki realizes he just lost that engagement too hard, taps out. And we're tied up 1-1 here. Let's head into game number 3. Spawning on the left-hand side, up off of victory, we've got Mocha. Spawning to the right, Tiki. Same decks. Look at this map. So many mills on this map. Thanks for the follows, everybody. I appreciate it. I saw somebody looking for the bracket earlier. The best way to kind of figure out what's going on in this tournament is the Discord. I tried to... it's underneath the... in the Tooth and Tail events section, underneath the stream. I'm trying to pull that link up for the chat right now. And then you head in there, and there is a like a a couple channels that show the matchups. So basically what's happening in this event right now, this is kind of a preseason. It is, I suppose, a fairly accurate term. You know, we're not going to have the next TnT Championship series until 2021, so this is kind of the event to tie everybody over for now. And it's essentially a big round robin where everybody's got to play in their groups, best of 5 against their opponents, and we're going to tally up the scores. I think the lowest scored players in all their groups get the boot, and then everybody else goes to a tournament bracket. Just like a standard, you know. I think it's single. It might be double. I'll have to check. Speaking of doubles, 8-farm double from both sides here. Again, I do want to try to get to a bunch of matches tonight, so I might fast forward during slow early games a little bit. Looks like we're going into triple tier 1. This is a little bit unusual, to be honest. Yeah, Tiki even going up to 4 tier 1, so I'm curious what the rationale behind this is. Ooh, sells one off. Ooh, sell. Okay, there we go. Just kind of showing. I was thinking maybe the 4 tier 1 to try to punish an opponent going for tier 2 or something like that before it's quite out. And kind of does trick Mocha, though. What he ends up doing is get the tech tempo here. As Mocha correctly, you know, for the information he has, he's like, alright, you got 4 tier 1, I should probably get 4 tier 1 so you don't just kill me. But meanwhile, Tiki sold off a couple of those to get into the skunks. Now Mocha is doing the same. But Tiki will have a significant lead on the skunks. The skunks are about 30 seconds ahead of Mocha's, and that's 30 seconds, a nice little window to poke and prod in for an attack. Mocha getting up to that double skunk, though. I would love to see this. This, in my opinion, this is one of the stronger openers you can do in the early game right now, and I'm curious what the correct response is, or how to deal with it in general. I think where I've been going wrong against it is overly relying on lizards. Like, lizards can do pretty good against a pair of skunks, but when you get up to 4 skunks, the skunks actually start beating the lizards because they just have so much HP, they get so much gas everywhere. And here's that attack difference I was talking about, where Tiki did have the tech tempo on this from kind of selling Mocha on some wrong information, some decent mind games in the early game. It gets a reasonable attack done there. You know, probably not the crippling damage he was looking for, but some decent damage nonetheless. And yeah, so Mocha's got this double skunk up that I feel like is pretty strong in the early game, and let's see what Tiki is trying to do about it. He's going up to Falcons. He is going to be able to come in here, find some damage to lizards. Actually pulls back a little bit too early. It's easy for me to say that, though, when I can see everything. Tiki did not want to risk losing a good chunk of the lizards there and opening himself up to a counterattack. But in general, it just looks like Tiki is kind of respecting the double skunk. Like, not really moving out against it. Just kind of hanging out, getting up to his own tier 2. And so far, I like this better for Mocha. I think if Mocha swings out... Well, he's got to wait a significant amount of time for his Falcons to be here. And by that point, Tiki should be getting up a decent amount of Falcons of his own. But Tiki looks like he's going to think about some aggression here. I like pulling the Falcons up as well with the skunks here to try to punish the enemy skunks. But Mocha doesn't have a ton of tier 1 in this situation. Here we go. Tiki is moving in. And the Lizard Falcon Skunk is able to overwhelm. Tiki did a good job of kind of poking in for some damage earlier on, even using these pigeons to help heal. And Mocha getting caught, maybe just going for a bit too much tier 2 here. Really nice engagement there from Tiki. And gonna grab the match. Putting the series up 2-1 in favor of Tiki. Let's hop into match number 4 here. Spotting in the bottom right, we've got Mocha. His opponent to the left, Tiki Gray. Alright. Mocha continuing on with the same deck. Meanwhile, Tiki going for the hyper late game here. Snake, Owl, Wire, Balloon. Tiki is really good at using the wire and the snakes. And hoping the Squirrel, Skunk, Snake is enough to get him through the early game. And this is a nice map for what Tiki's looking to do. You know, Tiki's got a ton of gristmills on his side. Could easily throw down Barbed Wire and Balloon right there if he so decides to. Mocha's not down and out, though. Does have access to pretty reasonable 4 bases here. And this is the first time we've seen a Tier 3 in the deck composition from either of these players. Mocha with the single mine back here. That's kind of interesting. I would think maybe he wants Vision to see moles, but moles are kind of not meta right now. Maybe it could help him against a back attack, but I really doubt Tiki would go all the way around to make that happen. In general, though, 1 mine is nearly negligible in cost, so it doesn't really matter too much. Looked like 8 farm double from both sides. Tiki getting into that expansion. Mocha taking a little bit more time before getting into the expo. Overall, very similar build orders here. I think Tiki's was a little bit better. Maybe Mocha was worried about some early aggression. That's why he got that 3rd Tier 1 Warren. But it will definitely lead us into a no harm, no foul situation. I don't think either player's really got enough of a Tier 2 timing advantage for it to make a big difference. But, you know, as I say that, Mocha's Tier 2 has been blocked for a significant amount of time now. Which will put Tiki's Skunks a little bit ahead. Tiki being very greedy here on the back of starting to set up some wire. Selling off most of the Tier 1 to get into more and more farms, using some wire to help defend himself while doing so. And Mocha doesn't have cams or moles or anything like that to really deal with these wire easily. Mocha is getting the memo, though, says, alright man, I'll play greedy if you want to play greedy. Sells off his own Tier 1 to get into some more Tier 2. So we got a macro fest here, but again, this is what Tiki wants. He wants his opponent to concede to play in a macro game because he knows he's got that owl-snake composition in the pocket. Especially with the balloons, too. So let's see what Mocha can do about this. Mocha already looking to get into that 3rd base. Ooh, and Tiki's going to decide, you know what, man, you're not going to attack me anytime soon. Let me get my money back from that wire and start building into other things that I feel are more important. And there's the first owl. Tiki is feeling comfortable. Double skunk coming up for Mocha. And maybe there might be a little bit of a window to attack. If Mocha goes like right now, as Tiki is trying to get this defense set up, very, very close to Mocha's main base. Now this is threatening. You know, the balloons are on the way. And I think Mocha was out and about when that little bit of a chance did occur. And now he's starting to get locked in from the balloons. Double owl on the way here for Tiki. And this is rough. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's correct, but if I was Mocha, I would kind of be tempted to like just walk around everything and come attack in. But what's really hard about doing that sort of thing in Tooth and Tail is that just all of your reinforcements would fall to this wall here. And Mocha's in a rough spot. He's got the better economy, but he's just got nothing that can really handle what Tiki is putting together here. The barbed wire balloon combination is just so nice because you need Tier 1 to really deal with the barbed wire. Or I'm sorry, to deal with the balloon, and the barbed wire knocks out all the Tier 1. So Tiki's late game comp is looking really good. Mocha does have double skunk and is getting into quite a few falcons here. I don't know if double skunk will be enough to make the mice null and void, especially as Tiki is getting into the third owl. And to be honest, like this is the reason I've been trying out a lot more aggressive strategies lately, because I feel like when you like kind of do that gentleman's agreement with your opponent, you know, if they've got the right deck, they can really put together a composition that is just quite oppressive into the mid or late game. So what I've been playing with a little bit is like, how do you not let them do this? Because, I mean, Tiki's position here just looks so powerful. You know, even has the balloons to give these snakes high ground vision to poke into the warrants here. Gold Warp Gates, dude, what's up? Yeah, man, Day 9 did stream the other day. That was super awesome. That was really great exposure for the scene. Yeah, and honestly, you know, this style is, it's not really new, I guess, but it's kind of newer to the meta again. But this is kind of one of those ultra late game comps I just don't feel we've really figured out an answer to yet. Like, what is Mocha supposed to do about this? He's gonna push in, but I mean, with all the balloons here, all the mice. And that's going to be it. Tiki takes the victory, takes the 3-1. Not 23-3. All right, what do we have going next? Well, Dell's 4 skunks as good as you think now since it lost both games it was done. Well, one of the games you had a big advantage before that came up. I'm more talking about from a theory craft perspective, like an opening build of 4 skunks when people are even. Like, what is the right way to deal with that? Well, from an attacking perspective, right? Like, if you're trying to get aggressive against a 4 skunk opening, I mean, if the game just goes on, then yeah, it doesn't really matter, if that makes sense. All right, Gentleman versus Trumpet. Let's get into that. What time is it? 7:10. You know what I mean? Like, if you open up 8 farm, double into, like, a skunk warren, do a tier 1 warren to another skunk warren, what is the proper response in the early game that's cost effective against that? Because that's exactly the thing I mean, is if you can use the double tier 2 skunk opening to leverage getting into that unbeatable late game, you know what I mean? It seems like a really solid way to play right now. And I'm kind of the guy who likes to try to figure out what the right response is. Like, when I see stuff like double skunk openers or owl snake be really strong, it's my reaction to be like, okay, how do I deal with this? Not, I want to play it. But let's get into Gentleman versus Trumpet. Over on the bottom left, we've got Trumpets. And his opponent to the right, the Gentleman. Okay, very cool decks from both sides here. Both sides trying out the cams. Looks like Trumpet's got Boar and Fox. Maybe that's a cool way to try to play Fox in the modern meta, because it's like, oh, if they go Owl, that sort of thing. You've got the Boar, perhaps. And I'm pretty excited for this match. The Gentleman has also, I feel like, kind of been figuring out ways to deal with that Owl Snake late game. I think he's also trying to be pretty aggressive in the mid game right now, so I'm kind of curious to take notes and see what he's kind of come up with here. And Trumpet has been a blast in the scene so far. Still a relatively new player, but putting up some great results, giving us the a little bit more exposure with the FXB guys coming in. I think they've had several players start coming over to Tooth and Tail. I think most of them are StarCraft guys. So 8 farm double from Trumpet here. Gent going 8 farm single into an expansion. He's got a couple mines though. I don't think Trumpet ever saw those get put down. Trumpet looking to do a little bit of poking and prodding here, but gonna back out for now. But I think my general issue with double skunk is I just haven't been building enough tier 2. I think that might be all it is. Trumpet with Cam Snake. I'm actually pretty interested in that. Gentleman's typically a macro player. Well, it's kind of hard to typecast Gentleman. I mean, he knows a variety of different openings, but is going for a more economic opening this game. Meanwhile, Trumpet getting into some cams, also getting into a second base. Trumpet really just needs to keep on scouting the Gent, keep up in farms, and he's basically good to go. Right now, Trumpet does have a little bit of the tech advantage, but Gentleman can remedy that pretty quickly by getting into his own tier 2 of choice. Looks like he wants to go for the Chameleons as well. And we have a solid macro game on our hands here. You know, pretty similar stuff. I think this is better for the Gentleman since he is getting his farms up a little bit faster. Unless Trumpet can manage to do something with his tier 2 before Gent's tier 2 is out, but I don't think he's going to move out. Nice reveal on that mine there. We'll be able to pick it up. Gentleman moving in, though. Trumpet wants to take this fight. He's got both his cams. I think only one cam's actually here, though. Yeah, and by the time to start fights, maybe Gentleman will have some cams. No? Is it actually going to matter? It looks like it will. 2 cams versus 1 here. However, Gentleman does have the defender's advantage. He does have a couple of the pigs helping out. If Gent can re-stealth this cam, alright. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Nice defense there from Gent. Doesn't really lose anything. And Trumpet lost both his Chameleons, where Gent only lost 1. Gent is also up on farms, so these are all pretty good indicators for him in this this position. Dude, Pez in the chat? What's up, Pez? QQ does play, but he's not playing today. Nova X. And Trumpet realizes after that engagement he's just too far behind. Takes the tap out. Gentleman putting a point up on the board. Raucous with the subscription. Thank you so much, man. Good to see you. Do we have so many old people in the chat today? Well, not old people. I'm probably the oldest person. Age-wise. Dude, Pez, Cold Warp Gates, Raucous. These are some old school names, man. 36. Alright, Zero's got me beat. I'm, oh gosh, how old am I? Am I 31 now? Yes, I'm 31. Pile in the chat. What's up, Pile? Dude, what year is it? Is it 2017? Good lord. Great to see everybody. Dude, Pile's been playing a little bit again. I see you on there. Alright, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Alright, match number 2, Gent vs. Trumpet. Let's go. Spawning on the bottom, we've got the Gentleman. Up top, Trumpets. Oh god, this is a map, ladies and gentlemen. This looks like Baby's first custom map. You know what I mean? It's like first OC. Like, this is almost a mirror if Gentleman was like back here and there's a mill right here. Like, what am I even looking at? This hurts my eyes. I'm not a fan of this. But Trumpet probably is, because he's got the artillery cannon. Such short rush distance. Alright, somebody's got to be tempted to rush. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Trumpet. Reading the map. Going 5 farm double. Gent is actually going to sell down to 5 farm and go triple. Wants to be really safe. Typically, when you get 5 farm doubled, you can go for a 6 farm double and be safe. But I do understand. Now, I don't think the 3 was correct. I don't think you can actually support 3 Warrens off 5 farms. But it might have been correct to sell that extra pig just because how short this rush distance is. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can. But you can see, like, the units getting blocked a little bit. I think he would have been better off with going for the 5 farm double and then getting into the 6 farm faster. But Gentleman certainly knows what he's doing more than I do. And the reason he went for a 5 farm triple is because he wants to put on some counter aggression here. And he's got 9 squirrels to 6 lizards. He should be able to take this fight. He is taking a little bit of pig fire here. 2 pigs getting in on the action, and not all the squirrels were there for Gentleman, but he's still got 3 left over. That's plenty to kill a pig. That's really what Gentleman is looking for here. Knocks one of the pigs down. He's still got a little bit of momentum, but I think he should back it up and go home. No, he's going to dance for a little bit while his reinforcements come. Needs to be careful. Major Steps of War vibe, dude. For sure. God, what is that one that was, like, even smaller than Steps of War? Why am I blanking on the name? It was, like, one of the original, like, 1v1 StarCraft generic maps, you know? God, I can't think of it right now. Gentleman coming in again. And Trumpet's gonna have to tap. Bloodbath, yes, thank you. It was totally Bloodbath. Alright, that's 2-0 for Gent so far. I don't think Bloodbath even had expansions on it, did it? Oh yeah, like little half-ass expansions. All right, dude. N64 StarCraft 2. Ugh, that's a cursed. It's a cursed game. I have it. My wife like bought it for me as a joke or something. I remember playing it on the N64 when I was a kid and didn't know any better. Imagine playing an RTS with a controller. Am I right, guys? As I play Tooth and Tail with the controller. Alright, at the bottom left, we've got Trumpet looking to put up a point on the board against his opponent with a 2-0 lead, the Gentleman. Really great decision-making there from Gent to keep the pressure on like that. And this is another map. I suppose it's kind of balanced. I think it's better for Tiki, or for Trumpet rather, especially because he's got the artillery here. But, you know, Gentleman's got 4 bases over to the side. Trumpet's kind of got like 4 bases. There's this extra base hanging out. I don't think it strictly belongs to anybody. Maybe more favored towards Trumpet, but I think once Gentleman sets up this position, if we ever get there, it's going to be really hard to mine from this base. Ugh, split screen multiplayer. StarCraft 64. What are you guys doing, man? This is a horrible conversation we're having here. Dude, I can't do split screen at all anymore. Like, I just can't. I will not play split screen. I refuse to. Like, what's a good game where you'd, like, actually want to play split screen nowadays? You know what I mean? It was like an old necessary evil, right? Like, a couple of my buddies played Divinity Original Sin 2 together. They're like another couple I know. And they played it split screen, man. It's like, how the hell did you guys do that? Just pay the extra $50 for the second... Dude, I'll pay the extra $50 for the second game. I refuse to play split screen. Yeah, Mario Kart. Yeah, I'll give you like a racing game. Sure. But that's about it, right? Like, maybe a racing game. I could play a racing game split screen. Now I'm blanking on the... there's a really good racing game for Super Nintendo that I loved. Hang on, Gentleman's coming in. Nice harassment here with these lizards. However, it does lose quite a bit. This map is so big, though. I don't think Trumpet really has the opportunity for a counter-aggression here, though. So nice victory there for Gent. Oh, man. Why am I blanking on it? It had, like, the most banging music. Top Gear, dude. Anybody ever play Top Gear? That game is awesome. I actually played it again, like, not too long ago. I have it. I have, like, a little antique video game collection, you know? I have, like, 100 or 200 Super Nintendo games, that kind of thing. Dude, Top Gear is a banger. That music is so good, too. I wish I played F-Zero as a kid. I mean, F-Zero, like, I didn't know anybody who had F-Zero, right? Maybe it just wasn't that popular in the States, because, like, I knew of Captain Falcon from Smash Bros. You know what I mean? Like, who actually played F-Zero as a kid? Oh my god, Gentleman just going for the base trade here. Knowing Trumpet's got a decent army, doing critical damage. Trumpet, though, getting the counter-aggression in, and Gentleman's actually going to come home and try to contest this. Trading his expansion for Trumpet's main. I love Gentleman's pure lizard style, but is it actually going to work this time around? I mean, he's got like the same amount of squirrels and chameleons. I think Trumpet just wins this. I think Gentleman needed to commit to the base race. Like, he had enough lizards left over since there's only 3 farms on the second base. He probably could have got it. He does have defender's advantage here. These cams are getting quite low. I think Gentleman just realizes, alright, if I hold this off, I've crippled Trumpet's economy and I just win the game. But Trumpet also knocked out the second base of Gent. Keep that in mind. The 5-minute mark's about to hit, where you'd rather have that second base than the first base anyways, and Gentleman's gonna tap. Gent didn't know about the cams. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think he did either. Maybe he saw the tier 2 Warren, but I don't think he ever actually saw the chameleons. Alright, that puts us on game number 4. Actually, give me 1 second, guys. Maybe about a 2-minute break. We're going to do a 2-minute break, and I think I will get to Nicolaccio versus Rattan tonight as well. So just give me a little break, and we'll finish this one up and do one more. Okay, I am back. Sorry, I had to do something for the lady real quick. Thanks everybody for waiting. Really good viewership tonight. I appreciate it, everybody. Sorry, just gotta do one thing real quick. Alright. We've been playing, dude, we just frumped yesterday, that's what I call it. It's where you just, like, don't do anything, you know? You just lay around like a bastard. We watched Dragon Ball Z and we played Terraria on our phones. Dude, Terraria on the phone's actually not bad. I mean, I know it's way better on the PC, but it's nice being able to, like, relax in bed on your phone like a, like a lazy jerk. You know? But they did a bit overhaul to it since the last time I played as far as, like, the controls go. So it feels a lot better now. So, Casey wanted to play. Oh god, hang on. Oh no, I think it's alright. Casey's got to save the villagers. Alright, anyways. Task at hand here. Game number 4. Alright, spine at the bottom left, we got the gentleman. Up in the top right, trumpets. Dude, trumpet. Whipping out the meme deck here. Triple tier 3. I like this kind of stuff. I like seeing Squirrel Skunk, you know, as the core of nonsense decks. I think that's really smart, you know. Like, if you're gonna do crazy stuff, having Squirrel Skunk as just like your baseline is really good. Jin should have just base raised. Yeah, I think so. But it's rough to call that, I suppose. I think that was a bit of a mistake there. How's this map looking? Pretty even, I guess. I don't like the low ground here for Gentleman, but he can remedy that fairly quickly by taking the space up top. And Trumpet can just kind of span down linearly to that eastern corner. And I like these compositions from Gentleman. I think he's kind of thinking about the same thing I was, where it's like, how do we deal with this really, really powerful late game composition, you know? I think the answer, honestly, is just not letting it happen. And that's been the case in a long... That's actually very common in RTS games. For example, you know, in Brood War, you can kind of scratch your head and be like, well, how the hell are you supposed to deal with mass carriers? It's like, well, you're not supposed to sit around and let them build mass carriers, you know. By that time, it's a little bit too late. And I think that's a smart approach, right? Like, keep the pressure on. Don't let the opponent just kind of macro up and do what they want. Make them trade with you. Make it very difficult to commit to the tier 3 or to commit to a lot of tier 2. Mass Scout. Oh my gosh. Warp Gates, have you been keeping up with the ASL at all? God, what was that map? Like air, I can't remember the game specifically. I don't know why I didn't bring it up, but it wasn't even this season. But there like actually was like some scout builds in the ASL, like sometime recently, not the longest time ago. I'm a little bit behind. I haven't seen a whole lot from this season. Sparkle, yes, Rapid in the chat. What's up, man? Good to see you. Are you like the Rapid? I think that's the Rapid. Yeah, it was Sparkle. That was exactly the map I was thinking of. I don't know why my brain was going to like a pink map, but it was Sparkle. And hey, dude, very cool. I'm a big fan of your work, man. You're a phenomenal caster. All right, what do we have going on this game? Trumpet is trying to leverage Double Skunk into a quick Fox, but he's also being relatively greedy here. He's got that second base half saturated right now. And has Gentleman scouted the Fox? That's the big question. He actually hasn't. And this is a curious positioning, in my opinion, for the Fox. On the one hand, it is very easy to defend, but Trumpet could have been a bit more clever with that Tier 3 positioning, you know, especially with this high ground right here. He could have just thrown it up there. Sometimes you'll see players try to do things like throw it back here. But in general, especially with something like a Fox, you don't want your opponent to scout it. But so far, the Gentleman actually has not scouted it. Dude, I know. Dude, Day 9 was hanging out the other day, man. Like, he streamed, and then I put on my replay casted show. He was in the chat hanging out for a bit, asking questions and stuff. Made me very happy. I've learned so much about StarCraft from Day 9. It was really cool to be able to teach him a thing or two about Tooth and Tail. So we got a nice big fat macro game on our hands. Third base getting up and running here for the Gentleman. And I'm curious, like, Trumpet on paper seems to have the better late game. He can get into several owls. You know, he's got the Fox. He's got the Wolf. And the Fox is almost here, and I don't think Gentleman ever scouted it. Okay, no, he did end up scouting it, but what does he have to deal with it? Well, he's got lizards, and you can see he's building a ton of lizards right now. A lizard, again, he's got lizard and chameleon, which are like vicarious ways to deal with the Fox. They're not exactly hard counters to the Fox, but they are ways you can use some tactical plays. Oh my god, like this is the chameleon trap. Oh man, no, that's a dead Fox. Oh god. Really good play from the Gentleman there. That I was about to explain the concept of a chameleon trap, but we just got to see it firsthand, where you put your chameleons out where you anticipate the Fox will run to, and then you just completely delete the Fox straight up. And Gentleman's gonna use this as an opportunity to break on through. That's still a lot of balloons that he's fighting under. Still gotta deal with this double skunk here. Dealing a lot of damage, but slowly yet surely, Gentleman is starting to get through and you know, killed like 3 pigs there. Took a decent trade, killed the balloons as well. But Trumpet actually committed to a second Fox. Most of the time, after, you know, something like that happens with your first Fox, you tend to sell that Tier 3 Warren off in order to get into more core units. Instead, Trumpet did decide to double down on it. But this is so many units here. Oftentimes, the best way to deal with a Fox is what I call the Zap Brannigan style, where you just throw lives at it until you eventually kill it. Like, Mass Tier 1 actually can deal with a Fox. But in these scrappy numbers, this is where the Fox really shines. However, the Gentleman definitely got the mission accomplished there. Knocked out both the remaining mining bases from Trumpet. Trumpet is now all in. He can try to get an economy back up and running, but the Gentleman's on 14 farms. He's really got to end the game right here, right now, and the Fox is not the unit for that. Maybe if he had something like a Badger, you know, we could pray to the Badger gods that he gets the right revs and has the right micro and that sort of thing. Alright, the Gentleman re-rallying a pretty decent force. And Trumpet is trying to make some magic happen here. He's got the... No! Oh, man. I don't think I can bear to watch it happen again. So many lizards, though. This Fox is just going to get overwhelmed, and that's going to be GG. Trumpet fighting back, but Gentleman ultimately taking the series 3-1. That means we've got one more series left here. Nicolaccio versus Raton. Hope everybody's having a great time. Hanging out and watching. See a lot of old names, which is really cool. People still interested. Got old Rapid in the chat. Good to see you. Ladder's been popping off, man. I've been having a lot of fun. I don't know. I might even do a couple matches. I don't know. I want to play, but I'm also hungry. And I got other things to do. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a couple matches. Hey, see you later, Rapid Dude. Take care, man. Alright, let's get into Nicolaccio versus Rattan. So on the left-hand side, we've got Rattan. And his opponent up top, Nicolaccio. So this is beginners division. Take it easy, Warpgate. Nice to see you. And we got pretty short rush distance here. Rattan typically likes to get aggressive. He likes his lizards. It's kind of funny because it's like both players have a second base. You know? Both players are very, very close to each other within spitting distance, pretty much. And then all the bases are just in like a line over here. But Rattan likes to be aggressive, so I doubt we'll get into a macro game regardless. But it does look like we're going to have 8 farm openings. Yep, 8 farm singles so far, most likely into 8 farm doubles. With rush distances this short, it's very risky to really do much else. We might still see 8 farm double into tier 2 though. I think with moles in the equation that could be punished. You know, like if on a short rush distance map like this, you went 8 farm double into a tier 2 against somebody who went like 3 tier 1 in a mole warren or 2. But let's see, both players really respecting their opponents. We're caught in a little bit of tier 1 chicken. Neither player wanting to commit. As I say that, Nicolaccio looks like he's saving up for a tier 2 warren now. And gonna get those chameleons out. So we just got to give it a little bit of time here. So far, Rattan is just sticking to the lizards. Nicolaccio just getting some squirrels up, getting the cams. The squirrels are a little bit forward, though. This engagement could favor the lizards here. Yeah, the lizards just slaughtering those squirrels. Damn. And then he's even going to get on top of the tier 2 warren, but he's not going to quite get it. Does get the tier 1 warren. Loses all those lizards. A big risk there from Rattan to try to knock that out. But it wasn't the end of the world. He traded so favorably in that first fight, he just kind of evened things up by diving his lizards in. But he did get that extra tier 1 warren to boot. However, I'm liking this composition from Nicolaccio better so far. He's got a very comparable amount of tier 1 units, as well as the chameleons to help out with the tanking, with the damage. He's going to push these lizards away from now. Rattan not wanting to commit to a big engagement. This is also kind of rough for lizards too, because this is very awkward terrain here. These lizards might have a hard time like finding all of their respective tiles very quickly. And Rattan is looking to try to find some damage. He's coming in here. No, he kind of overcommits a little bit without committing all the way. I know that sounded really weird. But, like, if you weren't going to do it, you should have pulled back earlier. Oh, no, and he comes home and rallies. Oh, my God. F in chat, boys. Oof. That was rough. Nicolaccio should be able to take that miss path there and turn it into a victory. Nicolaccio is starting off a bit strong there, but after a couple decisions, really trying to go in for some extra damage, ends up getting get rough there. What's up, Airlu? Alright. Game number 2. Let's do it. Spawning at the bottom, we've got Rattan. And his opponent up top, Nicolaccio. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what's up with that. I'll have to look into it. Typically, there's a lot of options for quality. And today, my quality is like, no, it's the best quality or it's no quality at all. No in between. So, apologize. I will Google it later. Yeah, I might play a couple matches after this. I don't know. What do you guys think? I can just highlight it off the VOD. I'm pretty hungry. Maybe we'll do like a few. I do really want to play though. Fast forwarding a little bit here. Oh, what? Whoops. I gave the wrong person the point. Rattan did not win that first game. Nicolaccio did. The chat's just on Team Rattan, man. You guys are just going to let it happen. And we see several tier 1 here. Going into 3 before committing to either tech or economy. Again, I just think both players are trying to be safe here. Yeah, even going into 4 tier 1 each. And I do like this map a lot better for Nicolaccio. He's got so many mills here. However, the map is fine for Rattan. He's easily got a second and third base option. And my typical rule of thumb is, like, you know, most of the time, as long as you have access to a second base, you kind of can't complain too much. You know, not having a third does suck, but that's the way she goes sometimes. And hard as tooth and tail is adjusting your strategy and your game plan to compensate for that sort of thing, you know. Maybe you need to do some sort of two-base push. But it always is a little bit rough when your opponent's got options that you do not. Nicolaccio moving in here. Maybe reconsidering it, though, as he starts some pushback. Gonna take this mill. And this is like equal lizards versus equal squirrels here. And the lizards win that engagement any day of the week. Especially when the squirrels are not protected by the warrens. And that just actually just straight up might be a Rattan victory here. Really showing the strength of lizards in the modern meta. Alright, game number 3. Spawning at the bottom, we've got Rattan. And his opponent to the right, Nicolaccio. Alright, Rattan sticking with the same deck. Nicolaccio changing things up a little bit. Squirrel Toad Cam with Badger Pigeon. Maybe to transition to the late game. But it looks like Nicolaccio is just going very anti-lizard, which I like to see. You know, he's actually adjusting his deck in his composition to what his opponent's doing. I think Rattan is pretty well known to like Mass Lizard. So Rattan's got several options here to deal with that. Well, I'm really curious to see, like, modern toads versus lizards. I mean, I've been playing with toads a decent amount, but it's kind of hard for me to say. Like, I don't think toads counter as lizards as much as they used to. Nicolaccio changes things up, going for a 6-farm double. Because the modern toads deal more single target and less AoE. So I think the theory with modern toads is they're supposed to be better at killing tier 2 and structures. And if, you know, 3 toads kills a tier 2, that's a victory for the toad player because of tempo. Ooh, is Nicolacho actually going to attack? No, he decides against it. He did force a little bit of a response there out of Rattan. And I suppose he considers that to be enough. And we are going to move on in the match. Bigger map here, but we're still spawning right next to each other, which is kind of funny. Both players do have the option to kind of expand out. I'm interested to see if either player wants to be the ballsy one and take one of these more forward mills in between the two bases. Because both players have like the more bold expansion choice or like the safer expansion choice, you know. But I think if I'm Nicolacho here, I think this is kind of both. I think this is the bold and the safe one, right? Because taking this against lizards feels a little bit rough, but then again, I suppose if you just kept your units kind of in this general area, you could prevent kind of runarounds to the main base. And Rattan going to go into double cam. Nicolacho does scout the single tier 2, but not the second one. He's going to match it with a single tier 2 of his own. But double tier 2 is like exponentially better than single tier 2. I think you could say that for most of them. Maybe not Snake. I don't know. I don't play with snakes enough. But it feels like, you know, 2 cams versus 4 cams or 2 skunks versus 4 skunks is a very big difference. But Nicolacho does have toads, and if these these toads are good both against the chameleons and the lizards, but I think you would even still want the toads to hit the cams here. Oh, Nicolacho could feel it. But he does put his units out of position just a little bit. Rattan is going to be able to come in and get 1 pig, but loses 6 lizards. Now it's 7. A couple toads go down in the process, but maybe Nicolacho's got an opportunity to deal some counter damage here. Before he heads out, though, he puts a couple farms on that second base, really solidifying his lead. As long as this attack doesn't go horribly wrong for him, his commander gets very low, but the rest of his units show up just in time before the commander falls. And here's that 4 chameleons. Nicolacho pulls back. A couple of them are pretty low, and if these toads connect, they can do some serious damage here. All 4 of those chameleons living, though, is absolutely huge for Rattan. I agree with Receipt in the chat there. Nicolacho probably should have just stayed in. He would have lost most, if not all, of his squirrels, but I think he definitely would have got another cam. He might even got another 2 or 3. Rattan getting into these skunks as well. Slowly but surely, that tier 2 count is going up and up. And keep in mind, Rattan kept all his chameleons alive, while Nicolacho lost his. And this kind of running around, looking for openings, you know, Rattan's really just getting punished for it. And I think Nicolacho wants to move out, but he's still just kind of waiting on these cams. You know, he's already bottom. He might as well wait just a little bit for him to come out. Getting very, very high on the toad count, which normally I'd be a bit skeptical of, but with the lizard cam army, the toads can be very, very effective. Ooh, nice flank maybe, or perhaps just a miss rally there. Okay. So Rattan's got up to his skunks. He's going into double skunks, so we're getting into a little bit of a macro game here. What's up, Rainbow Chat? Thanks, man. Yeah, it's Mochaccino who's been organizing stuff for lately. Really, it's Mochaccino and Gent have been the brainchilds of most of the recent events here. Oh, here we go. The big bad badger on the way for Nicolacho. No plans to attack anytime soon. Says, all right, man, let's play a little bit of a macro game here. But Rattan sees this. I think he's got the tools in his toolbox here to deal with that. You know, if he gets into his own wolf, maybe a couple snakes, should be fine. Rattan has not gone into scout lately. He's got a couple cams set off to the side here. And is going to push in for a big attack. So many toads from Nicolaccio. Just deleting all the lizards, but honestly, I don't think those were the connections he was looking for. I think he needed a couple of those toads to hit the tier 2 a little bit as well. But the lizards from Rattan just soaked up all the toads, like, immediately. And look at that. They both just straight up trade armies there. And Rattan needs to sell down a little bit on the tier 2 here. He's a bit blocked. The economies are getting down into the dumps now that these second bases really haven't been able to get established. Nice sell on the Badger earlier from Nicolaccio, even going down to single cams here. How many toads is it for a mill? That's a good question. Somebody could probably look at how much damage a toad does, how much HP a mill has. I think it's a lot. I think it's like 12 or something. Pretty sure it's more than 9. Ooh, Nicolaccio's showing a Badger, selling it immediately though. Now, Rattan has wiggled out some more army. Rattan does have 4 skunks here, which can tank quite a bit. But maybe if these toads get some good hits. So much gas coming down here from Rattan. It looks like Nicolaccio's army is getting deleted. These 4 skunks are all that remains, though. Rattan really wants to get some damage on the pigs, but it's overextending a little bit with the skunks. One of them goes down, but he's still got a couple left. And Nicolaccio knows he's just too far behind. Yeah, 15 sounds right. 12 sounded too low. Okay, that's another point on the board for Rattan here. Let's get into match number 4. Spawning on the right-hand side, we've got Rattan, fresh off a win, and his opponent to the left, Nicolaccio. Okay, map looking pretty even. Maybe a little better for Nicolaccio, but again, I don't like to wax poetically too much about 3rd, 4th, 5th bases and stuff like that. Well, I do have everyone here. Please keep sending me replays. toothandtailtv@gmail.com. Any level of play is perfectly acceptable. We just had a new patch a few days ago, so if I want to do new patch replays on Friday, I need more submissions. I do a little bit of fast forwarding here as we get through the early game. Not a lot is going on. Both players went for that 8 farm opening. The map is big and wonky enough. Definitely makes sense, and I'm curious if we'll see the players do anything particularly greedy because the map is very large. Yeah, like Rattan here going for a tier 1 into a tier 2. I think that is a nice adjustment to this map. Nicolaccio will scout it, but you can't really punish it. The map is just too big. Where do you send replays? Yeah, toothandtailtv@gmail.com is the spot to go. Send me your replays. Thank you very much. I don't have like a Discord. I had somebody else ask me if I had like a Discord not too long ago. I mainly just hang out in Tooth and you guys could just ping me, you can DM me or whatever if you want to chat. I try to be pretty responsive. I work in an office, so it's pretty easy for me to keep track of the Discord during the day. Yeah, Tooth and Tail Discord is awesome. If you aren't in there already, definitely join. It's the Pocket Watch Discord, actually. There's a link to it underneath the stream you're watching right now. Is there? Oh yeah, there is. It's just not like a link. It just says discord.gg/PocketWatch. So Rattan getting some quick farms up both sides, really. It's a nice little macro game we have on our hands. Which we haven't really seen between these two players very much. Like, I guess that last game wasn't really a macro game, though. It was just kind of like a scrappy game that continued on for a long duration. Oh man, I need to get some more mods. I got a couple mods, but they aren't super super active these days. Did that work? Why is that not working? I don't know, Daffy. Ban P. Dude, I literally just copied and pasted. There we go. Oh, I already banned him, that's why. Alright, Rattan getting that wolf up. But you'd figure, like, when I banned somebody, it would delete their message. Oh, it was like a spam. Just a spam bot, like, hey, buy followers. So we got a wolf coming out, and we got a boar coming out. Sorry, I got a little bit distracted by that. Nicolaccio did see the wolf, and Rattan just scouted the boar. So both players know what's up. This is a pretty general, like, 2-base half sat into some big tech here. Rattan's got some cams out for the wolf, which is kind of nice. Nicolaccio looking to get into some falcons, looking to get into some cams of their own. But this is a pretty nasty army coming out from Rattan right here. As long as he can protect this wolf, you know, these buffed up units will do considerably better than normal in the engagement. So let's kind of see it. But like, the longer he waits, the better this gets for Nicolaccio. Can quickly throw down some more Warrens. Some of these tier 2 will finish up. And here we go, the big engagement. These chameleons getting a little bit too far forward, though. A lot of those just kind of get deleted before the fight even starts. And the wolf goes down. This is a phenomenal defense here for Nicolaccio. Rattan, unfortunately, going to have to sell that wolf off. Did not go as planned there. Yeah, might hop on the ladder after this, but I don't think I'm going to stream it. I do have to get some food. It's already been a couple hours here. Nicolaccio coming in for the counterattack. Rattan's defense is not bad, but Nicolaccio will have enough to break through here, and I think Rattan is just going to have to tap. That attack got fumbled a little bit too hard earlier on, and this counter-aggression from Nicolaccio is just getting so much work done, and now the boar even shows up to help torch down all these Warrens. Rattan can get the snake poison stacks onto the boar, but it's not going to really matter. That is it. GG. That ties things up 2-2 here. Very cool. Let's get into it. Game number 5. Spawning in the bottom right. I said reft. We have Nicolaccio. And up top, Rattan. You know, reft in light directions. I swear I'm not, what's the word? Jeez, my brain is turning off. Dyslexic. There we go. Alright, so this is for all the marbles here, tied up 2-2. Looks like the players are utilizing the same decks they did last time. Pretty good spawn here for Nicolaccio. And this is that situation for Rattan I was talking about, where it's like, yeah, he's got like 2 bases and that's kind of it. And that does suck, but it is playable. And Rattan can come down here to the 9 o'clock, try to get a third there. But overall, into the hyper late game, this map is favorable for Nicolaccio. It's a pretty big map, though. Well, I mean, actually, the rush distance isn't as far as it seems. Kind of close. We'll see. 8 farm double from Nicolaccio here. And Rattan, again, going to go the single into the cams. I think I like this if you're going to get aggressive with the chameleons, maybe. Oh, I thought he was about to be a mad lad and just go double cam right there. Do it. Oh. I was hoping. One can hope. Nicolaccio just building up the lizards for now. Kind of a role reversal, what we saw earlier in the series. Nicolaccio needs to be careful with his commander health. Is going to be able to get in here, get a pig. This chameleon will help bolster the defense, though. He's going to have to come home. But overall, that was successful there. You know, traded okay, and picked up the pig in the process. Rattan does have the tech advantage, though. It's a little bit rough, because it's like the chameleons can do pretty decently against the lizards, but the squirrels kind of get ran over by the lizards, right? I think Rattan really needs to get into double cam for them to be quite nice against the lizards here. Let's see, 9 squirrels against 15 lizards, with the cams too. This might be too many lizards. Let's find out. Oh, looks like the chameleons are able to deal with them pretty decently there. And the cams even have enough HP left over to bust through here, take out a couple warrens. 1 pig goes down, the 2nd pig goes down, so just a ton of damage here from Rattan. Nice attack coming through. Those chameleons did surprisingly well in that fight. And now Nicolaccio is in a world of hurt, and he knows that he really wants to rebuild these farms, but he can't. He's got to get some tier 1 up. He's got to bolster up whatever army he can for this follow-up push. Only a single chameleon this time around, but Nicolaccio's got like no units left. Rattan coming in here for the kill move. Oh my gosh, this chameleon's so low. It should be dying here shortly. Rattan's just got too many squirrels left over. And that should be game. Nicolaccio is gonna have to tap, so GG. Rattan takes the series 3-2. Alright, everybody, that is it for me tonight. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. It's always a pleasure to cast for you all. And yeah, that is it. That is it for me. I have to go get some dinner. I might get on the ladder a little bit. I am feeling a little spicy. I need to practice a little bit for my matches. Kipo whooped my butt pretty good. I can't let that happen in my other games. But Kipo's also a very, very strong player right now, so I don't feel too bad. You know what? Let's give old Ghost FTW the raid, guys. He's an old friend of mine. He's been kind of following the Tooth and Tail scene since the beginning. He's playing some Ark, so let's go say hi to him. And I will catch you all on Friday night for the regularly scheduled replay casting, if I don't end up casting some more preseason cup before then. Keep your eye on the Mochaccino Discord, though, just to see all the other... I know there's other streamers who are casting. Who else has done it so far? I know Tiki's done it. Who else is actually... Horus went live for the first time the other day. think that's it so far, but we might have guys like Boomer, Nicolaccio get involved with some of the casting too. They did in the previous season. So it's not just on this channel. There are other people casting it as well. And that's it. Send me replays so I can do a show Friday night. That's it. You're all a bunch of beautiful nerds. I will see y'all later. Let's go say hi to Ghost. Give him a big old tooth and tail welcome. Oh, can I not? It says it's intended for mature audiences. I don't care. We're all mature here. Can I not host this stream because mine is not marked mature? I don't know. I think we did it. Maybe. Maybe not. Sorry. Oh well. Alright, anyways, guys. I will catch y'all later. Take it easy.